Anybody else? प्लीज वॉलंटियर. जितना बोलोगे उतना सीखोगे.
जो भी
Before
तुम्हारे मन में आएगा बोलो.
So,
डोंट
तुम लोग का
while
नाम लेने की
afraid.
जरूरत क्यों पड़ती है, मुझे समझ में नहीं आता. तुम लोग बच्चे नहीं हो, खुद से पार्टिसिपेट करने की इच्छा नहीं है.
while he was preparing some kind of term, I don't know because I couldn't
एपीआई
understand.
मींस ऐप बनाने वाला. ही वाज आईटी गाय
Yeah.
बेसिकली.
Yes. So while making that app, he could actually plan what things he has to include in that app, and for that, of
Hmm.
course, business is also part of it because if the other person is also you will use the app, this person who is making, he need to understand what are the key points which have to be presented in that app so that it can give a wide scenario to the app user as well as him. So I think he actually utilized all the knowledge of supply chain and other thing business related in his app while making the app, and also while understanding the questions which were asked by the interviewer to him. So
ठीक है.
I think he actually
Anybody
utilized all
else?
the
One
knowledge.
more feedback.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
sir, throughout values of management course in a practical life and
Huh.
explain through example.
Okay. So it was backed by the example. Okay. So I will not take much time. I'm really sorry, ma'am. I
No, no,
invaded
it's already.
your timing. So
No, it is both the technical knowledge and the operational knowledge.
yes,
When
actually.
you are digitizing any transformation, because I have seen one of my sisters, she was working with IIT Kanpur library. When she had joined, it was manual. Whole system was manual. But gradually, so the computer science department helped them. They trained them. So they learned the technical skills and they learned the operational skills from the people who were working in the library.
Right.
Similarly, one of my sisters, she was working with one scheduled bank. At that time, everything was manual. So they also did. I saw them also doing the same thing. There were companies, IT companies, who were helping them to digitize the whole process. But the operational knowledge was with the bank people. So real coordination of these two were needed to do the actual transformation. Without
Right.
that, nothing is possible.
Right.
So we have to know both the
Yes.
operational as well as the technical. Now, because your generation has not seen that transformation, the new generation is now so used to technical only. But the way it was transformed, I have seen that.
Right.
In both my sister's case, I've seen the bank
Yes.
being
Yes. And
transformed
it
and
was
the
very, very
library.
painful on that time because people are
It
not
was
knowing
very,
anything.
people were not knowing, they were so
People were
frustrated.
even frustrated to leave the job.
In fact, bank, they were against it. They thought their employment will be affected, but nothing like that happened. Now people are happy. Banking has become so easy.
So easy, and even more demand is there. More number of people
More
are
demand
using.
is there. It is so easy to transfer money, so easy to draw money. It has really helped everyone.
Yeah, so certainly they will get inspired. Yes, ma'am. So I will request you to please continue with your, plan. And yeah,
Okay.
yes.
So you make me the host so that I can share my PPT.
Already I have made you host, ma'am. So you can share your PPT.
Okay. What is happening? It is stuck हो गया है. हाँ, अभी हो गया. Girls, all of you are present.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm? Khushi,
Yes, ma'am.
let me take your attendance. Khushi,
Yes, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Samiksha,
Present, ma'am.
Nidhi,
Present, ma'am.
Aanchal,
Present, ma'am.
Sharmila,
Present, ma'am.
Disha, Poonam, No. Suhani?
Yes, ma'am.
Ananya? Anyone else?
Yes, ma'am. And
Anukumari.
Archana.
No. Archana?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Anukumari.
Archana Anukumari. Okay. So now we'll be doing the next phase of planning. In the first, we had done what is a vision, what is a mission, how value system plays a very important role in holding the company. You look at all the global companies, the companies which have been there from more than 100 years. They are all have stuck to their value. Even new companies who have done very well, who had started from a garage and now they are global companies. You take Dell. Dell also was also started by a student from his room, but now it is a global company. So their value system is very strong. So we should always be very particular about not what is our vision, what we want to achieve, how we are going to achieve. That is the way our strategies are made, so that we can achieve the goal we have set up. And from strategy we go to tactical planning. At every functional area, what are we supposed to do for a shorter period of time to achieve that? So everything is aligned to each other, nothing is separated. So let's start with tactical planning. Khushi, you read.
Yes, ma'am.
Khushi,
Tac-
you read.
Yes, ma'am.
Ah,
Tactical
read.
planning. Tactical plan
Hmm.
supports strategic plan by translating them to specific plans relevant to a distinct function area.
Hmm.
Tactical planning is done for setting short-term goals and action plan in order to achieve the long-term goals set by the strategic planning in a company. The
Hmm.
horizon is hence shorter than the strategic plan, and this type of planning is generally executed by independent departments or company functions. If the strategic plan is a response to what the tactical plans respond to how. The tactical
Hmm.
plan is a very flexible document. It can hold anything and everything required to achieve the organization goals.
Hmm. Suppose, as I was telling you, the case of Tata Motors, which had launched Indica in way back in 90s. So their goal was to make a good passenger car. So, so all the functional areas, which are basically four functional areas: finance, HR, marketing, and operations. So to achieve that goal, all these functional areas, even though they are working independently, but they are interrelated. It is just like any living organism. We have so many organs in our body, but they are not in watertight compartment. They are separated by semi-permeable membrane, and they for the what is the well-being of the body of that, whether it is a plant or an animal, does not matter. The system is the same. It is for the well-being. So they share knowledge, and that is what is information system, sharing knowledge, and then only they can achieve the goal for which they are working hard. So over here, all these functional areas, the tactical plan is for each functional area, but at the same time they are also interacting with the other functional area. Like finance cannot work in isolation, HR cannot work in isolation, marketing cannot work in isolation, and operation cannot. They are working together for whatever objective has been set up in the strategies. So the horizon is shorter because it is strategic planning is for longer period, but at the shorter, what functions they have to do, what से अब हम लोग how पर आ गए हैं. What they had to do was strategic planning, and how will they do achieve that? That is tactical planning. And naturally, it is a for shorter. It is very flexible. Suppose in one cycle they have used one type of technology. Is also so many things are changing in the environment, so they have to adapt themselves to that. Suppose some rules and regulation of the government has changed, or suppose they want to penetrate a foreign market. So penetrating that rules and regulation also keep on changing, so they have to adapt themselves accordingly and then achieve the goal. Okay, Khush,
Yes,
Khushi,
ma'am.
you continue.
Strategic plan are broken down into a smaller distinct project of shorter period in practical planning. The time horizon of tactical plan is shorter and independent functions in the company can do the execution. Therefore, tactical planning is highly concerned by middle level management of the organization. Tactical plan divide strategic plan into smaller plan in a specific area of the organization. The major area where tactical plan are developed are marketing, production, finance, human resource marketing, etc.
Actually, I'm sorry, I have repeated this marketing twice. So, see, over here you can say production or operation, because initially it was production. We were more concerned only with the producing goods, but now it is producing goods and services. So for each, what each have. So, like suppose you are going to, for example, you take a service industry like an educational institution. So what you are going to teach? If you are going to teach, say you are going to teach general uh, humanity subjects, so naturally, what type of students you'll require, that will be your input. Then for teaching those students, you'll require money to set up the classroom, to set up the place, to uh, what will be their budget, everything, whatever finances so they'll have to decide and they'll have to plan it for a shorter period, because after one few months things might change, so they'll have to change it. It is not for a very long period, for a shorter period. Then HR, what type of teachers, what qualifications you require, what type of a principal you required. You need a principal with a good administrative power. You need teachers with a good knowledge about that all the uh, um, subjects which come under humanities. So the HR department has to look on after that. Then the marketing, because when you are going to start something, basically it is education is also a business. So we have to see how whatever you are doing, how you will sell that thing to your client. Who will be your client? What will be your unique uh, product, uniqueness of your product? How will you attract the customers? You will have to see what type of market you are going to cater to. What should be the price of providing that education, whether that market will be able to purchase that education or not. All these things the marketing has to do. Then your operation is the actual teaching of the process. Over here it is the operation, we are not talking about production here, but actually you are then producing students who will have that. Suppose someone is doing major in literature, English literature, someone is doing major in Hindi literature, someone is doing major in political science. So they'll come with a broader and a deeper knowledge of that particular substance. That will be the product. Your finished product will have more value than the input which has come into the educational institution. That is same even in, suppose you are producing garments. So what was your input? It can be cotton wool or wool. If you are producing cotton fabrics, or you're producing woolen fabric, or you're producing synthetic, uh, uh, any, it can be of different types. That has to be converted into cloth. That, nay, from wool it has to be converted into thread, from thread to cloth, from cloth to cutting of that will be the operation. The supplier will supply you. The whole supply chain is what? Right from the beginning to the finished good, to the consumer. So they'll be cutting the fabric into different design according to the demand of the market. So they have to study the market and see what will be the demand, so that they do not overproduce and not even underproduce something which is actually demand is in need. So you don't have, if you are overproducing, you'll be making loss, because nobody will be the buyer for your product. And if you are underproducing, you are losing opportunity. So in one case you have opportunity loss, in the another case you have actual loss. So the whole aim of supply chain is to see that this is minimized. The gap between the actual production and the actual want is, it cannot be 100%. Nobody can predict 100% the unit, but at least something very near to what is needed. So for that we do both. We do an analysis of past data, how things have been moving, and then also do a market research and find out what actually the customer is looking for. Then once it has been finished, it will go to warehouses. From warehouses, it will go to retail shop. From retail shop, the customer will come and purchase it. Suppose it finds something, some lacuna, some shortcoming in that, so they should have an option to return it, and that will move back, so that whatever is the lacuna, whatever is the shortcoming is rectified. So these all these four, marketing, production or operation, as you can, and finance, human resources, are working together. So but their working is known as tactical. They are working for a shorter period of time.
Ma'am,
Yes.
Yes,
ma'am, I had a doubt. Ma'am, can we also say ki in tactical planning, if we have to achieve a certain long-term goal, we break it down into smaller steps and we use tactical planning to achieve each step?
Yes, that is the objective of tactical planning. Our long-term goal is strategic planning for the achieving. Your over here, if when I'm talking about garment, your long term is to produce garments. It can be male, both male and female garment, children garment, whatever it is. It can be everything. But in tactical planning, you'll see for this particular short period, because see, fashion, color, combination, everything is changing so fast. So you will not uh, plan garments for a generation which has not even come into existence. You don't know what will be there. So whatever is the today's generation wants, according to the age group, you'll have to plan all that. According to the age groups, their likings and dislikings, and then only you'll be able to sell those garments. So you have to take that. For this, what will be, how much money will be needed, how you will produce it, the operation, doing the actual production, then advertising your product to the market to which you will be catering to, and also type of human skills and knowledge required to produce that. So this is a shorter thing. You are actually breaking up the whole big strategic plan into shorter steps. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next. Now, Khushi, you said Samiksha?
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
The objectives of tactical planning are first, the specific actions, budget, roles, and timelines for marching towards the organization's objectives.
So you can see the specific action, what exactly you have to do today and what budget is required to achieve that, what role different people have to play, what different functional areas has to play, and what should be the timeline, the time required to fulfill that. It should not like that everything has a timeline. You have to do this particular thing in say n number of days or n number of weeks or n number of years. It depends upon the type of product you are planning and also the market to which you'll be catering. So tactical planning focuses on these four things.
Can you explain once again?
See, as I told you, tactical planning, all the functional areas, finance, HR, marketing, operation. So specific action, what finance has to do. It has to see to what are the monetary requirement. Budget is again a part of the finance has to see at all the monetary requirement. HR has to see what skills, what type of people you need to focus on. Suppose you are making naturally some vehicle, two-wheelers or four-wheelers, whatever it is. So naturally you need people with both IT background and technical engineers. Over there you won't put doctors to do the work. Then what budget is required, which is also part of your but it is a specific area of your functional area, budget. Then what roles they have to do, what will be their role. जो बजट बना रहा है, जो डे टू डे वर्किंग का कैश फ्लो देख रहा है, there are so many things in finance also. So what roles each has to do, and that is why they are, through that only their accountability will be set up कि वो किससे कहाँ गलती हुई. If that is not set up, there will be, if something goes wrong, there will be a lot of confusion. Nobody will be able to take the blame. It will be just passing the bucket. So exactly what each and everyone role they have to play in the organization. Then timeliness. So time frame should also be fixed. If you have to make a shirt, so it should take this many days. Or if you are going to make a gown, so maybe the time will be different. So timeliness is also very important. So these are the four basic things which we are looking for in tactical planning. Specific actions of each functional areas for marching towards the, actually it is all of you are marching towards the organization's objective. If it is a vehicle producing organization, so naturally your objective is to sell that, which will be appreciated by your customers, which will be so that you can get repeat orders, make a relationship with your customers. That is also very important. So the type, the quality and the price which the customer is looking for, you should be able to satisfy them. Samiksha, you continue.
Yes, ma'am. Tactical planning for operations. The tactical planning which an operation manager does symbolizes a deep knowledge of the operations to be done to acquire the desired products or services and fulfill the organization's objectives.
So naturally, operations, you cannot put anyone in that department. People should have the knowledge of producing that. A person who's very good as a doctor cannot be put into a organization which is producing vehicle, or a person who's very good at engineering drawing, making the blueprints of uh, different kinds of vehicles. You cannot put that person into a hospital, and you at that time, the specific knowledge and who is required, who will be the best person to achieve that. That is the in the operations you have to see that. Only then the organization's objectives will be fulfilled. Yes, continue.
Thus, the operations manager has to do the following planning: production or distribution planning, production, procurement, and logistic, resource allocations, deploy resources to match demand, inventory targets, demand forecasting, benchmarking, matching all operations against competitors.
So actually, how that thing will be, they have to see to it, they have to plan for it, how they'll be producing it, what steps they have to do to produce that particular product or service, then how it will be distributed once it has been finished. It should not be lying there, it has to move to the customer. So this production and distribution planning, production procurement, from where to get the input, what type of input they require, then at what price they require, uh, at what time they require. And logistic is all the movement, right from the supplier to the manufacturer to the warehouse to the retailer to the customers, how things will be moving. Resource allocation, how the resources which they have procured has to be allocated, so that the desired thing is produced properly, the quality and the price the customer is looking for on that same thing. Then the inventory targets, they have to see. There can be three types of inventory. One is your raw material inventory, another is work in progress inventory, and third is your finished goods inventory. So they have to see the raw material is also in whatever is the demand, the raw material should match that. Once it is in the finished good inventory, should also be so that it should match the demand, because once it is in the working condition inventory, it has to be finished, and then it has to go to the customer. So that demand forecasting is very important, because your inventory has to match the demand. You have to keep things in such a way that the demand is matched as far as possible. It should exactly match the demand, but that is not possible, because what will happen. But there are so many tools and techniques these days, especially with the advances in artificial intelligence. So people most of the global companies are using those techniques and trying to exactly match the demand. Then benchmarking means you are try to see your products or services with the best in the market, so that you can either be as good as your competitors or even try to surpass them. Is it clear? So these are the
Yes, ma'am.
basics work of operations manager. These are the basic planning he or she should do. And then now, Achal.
Yes, ma'am. Tactical planning for finance. The tactical planning which and finance manager does symbolizes a deep knowledge of the operations to be done to achieve and maintain visibility into all the processes, so that one supply chain can be as efficient as possible and capitalize on cost saving throughout the chain. To achieve this, the following planning has to be done by the finance manager. reducing costs of all points within the chain, increasing the efficiency of all points within the chain, collaborating with all other parties in the chain more effectively, realizing working capital in the supply chain.
So these are the things which the finance has to do, because see, cost, as I told you, with this increasing competition, minimizing cost and maximizing quality is the main objective. So they have to plan the finances in such a way that as far as possible, it is the wastage is minimized, and it has the resources the has been effectively or efficiently allocated at each point of the supply chain, because supply, the cost will finally add up. If you are making the supplier who is supplying the raw material, if he is making wastage, that cost will add up to the one which is getting manufactured. If some wastage is there, that will be add to when it goes to warehouses, they may do not do their work efficiently, that will be added to your retailer, and finally to the customer. So throughout the supply chain, they have to see the cost is reduced, has been kept into minimum. As far as logistics also, like suppose you are sending something and you take a longer route, so naturally the cost of the good will go up. So you have, this is one example, there are so many other things they have to see to it, that the cost throughout the, right from the supplier to the final consumer, they have to see at each and every point cost is minimized. And this can be done only by increasing the efficiency at all points and collaboration, because we are talking of supply chain. As I told you yesterday also, I said it's like a relay race. Like, to win the relay race, each player in that relay has to do their best and also cooperate. It is not that each one is doing, but they are isolated from each other. Then also they will not be able to achieve their objective. Each has to do their best and also cooperate with us succeeding and preceding player. Then only you will be able to achieve your goal. And realizing working capital in this, how you are using the working capital, whether you are using it properly or not, that also will affect the cost of the product. So these are the 4 things which a finance manager has to see to it. Continue.
Look at all of one's financial processes at the holistic level, rather than viewing them as individual processes. It's the end-to-end process that involves the procure-to-pay cycle, working capital management, and the order-to-cash cycle business processes. Within it, this covers everything that's part of ordering, invoicing, reconciliation, and payment.
So, so it is not like one. The whole thing you have to, as I in the last slide also said, the whole supply chain from procurement to pay cycle, working capital kya hona chahiye, order to cash, what will be that within it this covers everything that's part of ordering, invoicing, reconciliation, and payment. Everything you have to take into consideration, then only the cost of the product or service will be minimized. Now, Sharmila, you read about marketing.
Marketing, tactical planning for marketing. The tactical planning, which are the marketing manager does, symbolize a deep knowledge of the operation to be done to be reach the customer with the desired products, service in the
Stipulated
stipulated
Hmm.
time time frame, minimum cost, and best qualities. For the meeting this objective, the marketing manager has to answer the following question: where is the one's audience? What channel should be used to communicate with them? What content do one need to create to reach one good gods? And when does it make most sense for outreach?
So how? Because the marketing was it done to make the product reach their buyer, because that is the ultimate. Then only you will get return on investment, whatever operations you are doing in producing that, whatever finances you have used, you will get your return in on your investment only when it is marketed properly and you are getting a good price of for your product or service. For this, the marketing manager should know कि where is one's audience, which is your market. सबका market तो एक नहीं होगा. What type of goods you are producing, what is the price of the good. अब सभी लोग तो गाड़ी चाहिए सबको, तो सभी लोग तो फरारी नहीं खरीद सकते हैं. यू हैव टू सी कि आप किस मार्केट को, जो फरारी बना रहा होगा शायद एम्बेसडर या फिएट नहीं बना रहा होगा, उसका ऑडियंस अलग है. तो यू दैट जो फरारी बनाना होगा वो दैट मार्केटिंग डिपार्टमेंट विल लुक एट दैट ऑडियंस. द ऐसे ऑर्डिनरी पैसेंजर कार बना रहा होगा, दैट डिपार्टमेंट विल हैव टू लुक एट अदर टाइप ऑफ ऑडियंस. What should be the channel? Now to after all this you also have the social media, which has become a very good channel for marketing your product, whether you're viewing Facebook or Instagram or any other social media platform. So many advertisements come up and we are lured by it. Sometimes they are good, sometimes they are bad. I'm not thinking every time what they show is the good exactly works like that, but still it is one channel. You can attract your customers, because sometimes you push your product and sometimes you pull your audience. In these two ways you try to contact with your audience who will be buying your product. Or you should also know ki, like for example, before winter, you're not going to buy sell them cotton clothes at that time. So you should know what content do one need to create to reach one's goals. You should know what at that time, if the fashion changes, naturally your design, your color combination, everything has to change. If even for cars, there are so many advanced level of signaling, advanced level of monitoring the car. Everything has changed over time. So you have to see what the customer needs, what are they demanding. So they have to create that type of product or service which the customer requires and are desirable to pay for it. When does it make most sense for outreach? At what time you should try to outreach? It is not that once the product has been made and then you try to outreach. Naturally, then it will be too late. Even if your product is very good, by the time it reaches, you try to outreach your audience, maybe you will not be able to sell it. So you should know what is the optimum time to contact your audience. As yesterday also I said, sometimes see so many of your filmmakers, they start advertising for their films even before it is launched. Okay, next. You continue, Sharmila.
You find
Ma'am,
Yes, continue.
ma'am, hello.
Come.
Ma'am, Khushi Kanojia, please mute your mics, ma'am, because background music आ रहा है.
अच्छा.
Sound.
Khushi, you mute your mic.
Yes, ma'am.
to
अभी कौन
find
पढ़ रहा
the
है? Sharmila, you were reading, na?
Yes, ma'am.
So you continue.
To find the answer to the question raised in the previous slide, the following tactical marketing plan will be beneficial. The goals of the awareness stage is to create recognition for one brand. Tactics that work best at this stage are content marketing, public relations, and event marketing. The goal of the consideration stage is to help one leads understand the benefits of products of service over other opinions. Tactics include sales sheet checking and tip sheets. The goals of decision stage is to convert leads into clients. To do this, one needs to reduce one risk of choosing one brand. Paid advertisements that offer demo, free conclusions, and guarantee work best and best the probability of the converting these leads into clients are greater than at the awareness stage. One is more likely to see the return on the investment.
So it is capturing the market, selling you good, getting good return on your investment, whatever money, work you have done on your whatever you are producing, whether goods and so you have to sell it, then only you can get. So this is the job of the marketing department. You have to do content. What is the content of your product or service? How you make public relations and event marketing. You can have highlight that whatever you are making or doing, and then try to attract people towards your goods or services. You have to make the customer understand what is so unique about your product, how it is more beneficial than, because in this market there are so many products of similar type. Everybody is trying to do his or her best to sell that product. So you have to be aware ki what actually the customer wants, how you should reach it so that it reaches its destination and you get a good return on the investment. You can use paid advertisement. You can give a good demo of your product. There are free consultations also. You can give certain guarantees, like for example, when you buy a battery, they give you guarantee of 1 year or 1.5 year. So you can give them guarantee also. You are trying, it is not that there is only your good in the market. There are similar goods in the market. So you try to impress the customers in such a way that they buy your product and you are able to sell whatever you are producing. In spite of doing all the demand forecasting, everything, the competition is there. And it is like when we got, in a mathematical operations research, there is a game theory, which is known as it can be 2 or n person zero sum game. Zero sum is इसलिए है क्योंकि what one wins the other loses. तो टोटल क्या हो गया, जीरो हो गया, एक का प्लस हो गया, एक का माइनस हो गया. तो यू वांट टू विन, तो यू ट्राई टू मेक योर प्लस जो हो सकता है वो दूसरे किसी का जीरो हो जाए, बट मगर अब कॉन्सेप्ट चेंज हो रहा है. वी आर लिविंग इन एरा व्हेन वी आर ट्राइंग टू मेक अ विन विन सिचुएशन, सबके लिए फायदा हो. ऐसा नहीं है कि मार्केट you will be able to cater to everybody by only one production unit. There can be more than one production unit. और इस तरह से वो मार्केट डिवाइड हो जाता है कि everybody wins through that by producing selling their product. Now Disha Mishra. Disha Mishra.
Ma'am, she is
Hello.
not in the
वो तो शुरू में थी, उसका तो हमने प्रेजेंट मार्क किया है. अच्छा, अनन्या पांडे.
Mom, she's
Ananya?
not in our batch, I guess.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
she- Acha. Archana? Anu Mishra? Okay, so
Ma'am,
let's go back to
ma'am,
who's speaking?
Anu Kumari.
Acha. Anu Kumari. Yes, Anu Kumari. Sorry. Anu Kumari. You take up.
Yes, ma'am. Tactical planning for human resource management. Tactical planning, which a human resource manager does in an organization, symbolize a deep knowledge for the system,
Of the
designed in a which personal of the organization deliver the best and contribute to the organization success.
So the tactical planning for you. So here, what the human resource manager should understand how the total system works, how the system has been designed, how they have to interact with each other. See, it should be a functional unit, not dysfunctional unit. Because if they do not cooperate and work as a team, like when we were doing value system, team spirit was emphasized by most of the organization. Because whatever, if suppose there is a conflict between the human resource which is working in the organization, which will be detrimental for the achieving the objective of the organization. So the system design and the functional relationship among the people working in the organization should be emphasized on. These only will contribute to the organization success. Yes,
These
continue.
roles of an HR encompasses activities like design of a work position, hiring, reward, recognition, strategic pay, performance development, appraisal systems, care and
career
succession planning,
career
planning, and
career and a succession.
employees development.
See, HR
Career
manager
and
should
succession
take
planning.
Succession planning. Okay, suppose someone leaves, so there should be someone who should take that place. It should not lie vacant. Design of work position. Okay, which person will be working on which position according to the knowledge, the skills. When you are hiring, you should be hiring people who are really required by that organization. They have the suitable knowledge and the suitable skills to work in that position. What reward should, suppose they do something good, something outstanding, so they should be rewarded or given some recognition. Then only they'll be motivated to work harder in future. Because see, जैसे अभी तक हम लोग जब इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन की बात करते थे, वी वर टॉकिंग ओनली अप टिल 4th लेवल. फर्स्ट वाज ऑटोमेशन. जब नए नए मशीन्स आए, पहले तो हाथ से काम होता था, नए नए मशीन आए, फिर हो गया असेंबली लाइन शुरू हुआ, एक ही लाइन में बहुत सारे माने मिलियंस ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स वर बीइंग थे. देन कंप्यूटराइजेशन आया, उसके बाद इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स आया, वेयर ईच एंड एवरीथिंग इज कनेक्टेड टू, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल कि if you are driving back from your workplace, तो कार से ही अपने फ्रिज को, अपने केटल को, you can give instructions कि क्या कितने how to fill it will be automatically filled, your kettle will be automatically filled, it will be the fire will be automatic. So everything is we talked about that. Now we are talking about the 5th stage where human resource is the most important. क्योंकि ये सारे काम करने के लिए विदाउट ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन आप कितना भी मशीन लगा लीजिए. See, even today we have reached a very high level in computerization and digitalization, but we are not able to reproduce something. Every machine produces something, it does not reproduce itself, which a natural thing does. Abhi hum log, we have not reached that. The final is in the hands of the humans. So HR का ही काम है कि see कि what will be their strategic pay, कितना उनको मिलना चाहिए, what type of work they are doing, according to they are getting their pay or not. So these all things will motivate them. Then they'll feel कि they really belong to the organization. फिर उनका परफॉर्मेंस का, इट इज नॉट स्टैटिक, इट हैज टू बी डेवलप्ड. डेवलपमेंट्स साथ साथ होना चाहिए. जैसे आई वाज टेलिंग यू, when my sister had joined IIT Kanpur, the library was manually handled, but then these people working in the library were given training by the computer science department, and they developed the way the whole library system was digitized, and they developed their skills and their knowledge. Then appraisal system, you appraise how people are doing their work, who is doing better, who's doing he's not doing well. Accordingly their appraisal has to be done, and accordingly their reward and recognition will be established. Then career and succession planning, ki career, when you reach a certain point, maybe you are promoted, so there should be someone to take your place. Or suppose a CEO leaves the organization, goes, so someone should be there to take that place. Nothing should lie vacant, because that way work will be affected. Employee development, which even in value system we were said ki constant learning, constant improvement. So these are all the outlook for the HR manager. Anu, let's go back.
Excuse me, ma'am, can I read? I didn't get a chance.
Who's speaking?
Suhani Singh.
Acha, Suhani Singh. Okay, yes, you can read, of course.
Operational planning. The operational plan describes the day-to-day running of the company. The operational plan charts out a roadmap to achieve the tactical goals within a realistic time frame. The plan is highly specific with an emphasis on short-term objectives. Increase sales to 150 units per day or hire 50 new employees are both examples of operational plan objectives. Creating the operational plan is the responsibility of low-level managers and supervisors.
So from strategic plan, which is the work of the CEOs, generally we divide it into the management levels in three. One is the highest, which looks after the strategic planning. Then the middle manager, the functional managers, whether he's a finance manager or a HR manager or operation manager or advertising manager. So these are at the middle level. And then at the lowest level are the operational managers, who see how day to day things are moving to achieve that objective. Like over here, two examples again: increase sales to 150 units, whatever you are selling, you increase it every day. Or maybe you are making a vehicle, every day how many tires will be inserted on the chassis. That can be one thing. Or headlights will be inserted in the chassis. All these things. So day to day, because these are creating the operational level is the responsibility of the low level manager, the supervisors. They have to see how things are moving daily. Yes, continue.
Yes, ma'am. Operational plans can be either single use or ongoing as described below. Single use plans. These plans are created for events, activities with single occurrence. This can be a one-time sales program, a marketing campaign, a recruitment drive, etc. Single-use plans tend to be highly specific. Ongoing plans. These plans can be used in multiple settings on an ongoing basis. Ongoing plans can be of different types, such as policy. A policy is a general document that dictates how managers should approach a problem. It influences decision making at the micro level. Specific plans on hiring employees, terminating contractors, etc., are examples of the policies. Rules are specific regulations according to which an organization functions, the rules are meant to be hard coded and should be enforced stringently. No smoking within premises or employees must report by 9 a.m. are examples of rules.
Mm. So, operational can be both single use for one specific event or activity. Like in this example is given, suppose a marketing campaign, a one-time sales program, a recruitment drive. It is not okay every day some recruitment is being done. It is not an ongoing thing. It is once in a while. Or you're doing some marketing campaign, that is also once in a while. Maybe after every once the thing has been produced, you try to send it to a marketing campaign and try to sell it directly to the customer. So you can have both single use plan or you can have ongoing plans, which is has to keep on going, so that the goods and or services which you are going trying to produce are done in time. For that you make policies and rules. Okay, how managers should work, what rules and regulations has to be uh, followed by everyone, whether he or she is a manager or he or she is any like for no smoking, it can be for everyone, whether he is a CEO or he is a guard. Everyone has to follow this. Then employee must report by 9 a.m. So by 9 a.m. they have to be at the premises of the company.
Procedure. A procedure describes a step by step process to accomplish a particular objective. For examples, most organizations have detailed guidelines on hiring and training employees or sourcing raw materials. These guidelines can be called procedures. Ongoing plans are created on an ad hoc basis but can be repeated and changed as required. Operational plans align with company's strategic plan with the actual day-to-day running of the company. This is where the macro meets the micro. Running running a successful company requires paying an equal attention to not just the broad objectives but also how the objectives are being met on an everyday basis, hence the need of such intricate planning.
So procedure, the step by step of any process which you are doing to achieve your objective. You can have ongoing planning, but it does not mean it will not be repeated later on. Maybe similar situation arrives, it can be repeated with certain modification, and everything is aligned to your strategic planning, operation planning. But to meet that strategy, the objective which you have set up for the organization. Yes, continue.
Operational supply chain decisions are made hundreds of times each day in a company. These are the decisions that are made at business locations that affect how new products are developed, sold, moved, and manufactured. Operational decisions are made with an awareness of strategic and tactical decisions that have been adopted in a company. These higher level decisions are made to create a framework within the company's supply chain operation and to the best competitive advantage. The day to day operational supply chain decisions ensure that the products efficiently move along the supply chain, achieving the maximum cost benefit.
See, for example, like as a child, your objective when you are born, you are raw, you don't know so many things. Gradually you learn, then you are sent to school to learn more. To what your objective is, something to either to become something or to do something in life. So for that, right from the beginning, day to day, what you are doing, how you are spending your time, how what you should do every day to achieve that goal or the vision which you or your parents have seen. So even in a organization, the day to operation is very important to reach that objective. So now there are certain examples on operational decisions. in different area, functional areas. Okay. So who'll continue? Just 1 second. Excuse me.
It was not a good name. It did not suit me. Transit time and Saki and stand and truly devoted to my gurus. The first guru was my spiritual.
Okay, we can start now. Who will be the next one after Suhani? Hello,
Mom, can I?
who's speaking?
Mom, Samiksha.
Samiksha. Okay, Samiksha, you.
Yes, ma'am.
A
number of examples on operational decisions can be identified in manufacturing, supplier relationships, and logistics, to mention a few. Manufacturing. Companies make tactical decisions with regards to manufacturing, such as the adoption of Kanban and just in time. However, if the local manufacturing site is unable to rely on certain suppliers' delivery times, the just in time method may not be suitable for some product lines. The local plant management may make an operational decision to keep certain items in stock to ensure that production is not halted. This inventory will increase costs, but a greater cost would be incurred if the production line was brought to a standstill due to a lack of items from a supplier.
So, जैसे ये क्या गया ना कि suppose if you keep your inventory according to certain rules and regulation, but in spite of that, sometimes you have to keep something extra because if something goes wrong and you don't have that extra, maybe it costs a little money, okay, no doubt about it, but if your production line stops, it will, you will be incurring more losses, which will again lead to increased cost. So how things sometimes, how to make your whole operation work efficiently, you have to every day or every week, as a situation arises, you have to see how you have to modify your work, how you have to adapt to the changes in the environment. So these, in manufacturing, the keeping extra in your inventory, your, or just in time means when things are required, then only that will be delivered to you. That it reduces the inventory cost, but sometimes it is not possible to be just in time, or the political situation or the working environment of that country is not very good. So you cannot rely on just in time, you have to keep something extra. Suppose for example in अभी तो ये थोड़ा कम हो गया है, मगर there were times when truckers strike बहुत हो जाते थे. तो क्या होगा, ट्रकर स्ट्राइक हो गया तो आपका तो प्रोडक्शन लाइन रुक गया, क्योंकि द रॉ मटेरियल हैज नॉट बीन डिलीवर्ड टू यू इन टाइम. तो लुकिंग एट दैट सिचुएशन यू कैन नॉट फॉलो जस्ट इन टाइम. वहाँ अच्छा है उस कंट्रीज में जहाँ दीज थिंग्स डू नॉट हैपन, बट अकॉर्डिंग you have in the manufacturing, the operation has to be adapted to the day-to-day working. Then suppliers. Okay, continue, Samiksha.
Suppliers, global suppliers and negotiated contracts are decisions made at a company level to take advantage of the company's global buying power. This offers considerable cost savings, but local sites may have to make operational decisions with suppliers to ensure an efficient supply chain. In some instances, Local negotiations with global suppliers are required to ensure the quality of the product. For example, in some countries, the quality of the product produced by a supplier is not at the same level as other countries. The local management would have to make an operational decision to negotiate with the supplier for them to create a product with higher quality to ensure the quality of the finished product.
अब जैसे ये है कि you at the highest level this decision was taken कि you will be buying the raw material from some global suppliers, but suppose due to some reason or other it does not reach you, then your production will be affected. So in that case you have to have good contact even with local suppliers, but see to it that the local suppliers have a are following the same quality control measures as the global suppliers, so that you do not have to make a or you don't have to compromise on the quality of your material. So because that is the need of the hour. At the lowest level you can you wait for things to come from the local supplier, your production line will be stopped. So you have to have a good contact even with the local supplier, but at the same time see to it that they follow the same stringent quality control measure as the global supplier. Logistics. Yes, Samiksha?
Please, ma'am. Logistics, strategic and tactical supply chain decisions in the logistics process often focus on the use of third party logistics companies, 3PL. Many companies have identified the cost benefits of these 3PL companies and have integrated them into their supply chain. However, in some instances, these 3PL companies may not operate in all regions where the company requires logistics. In those cases, the local management has to make operational decisions on leasing local warehousing and negotiating with regional logistics companies. Although strategic and tactical supply chain decisions are made to bring the greatest efficiencies at the lowest cost, the daily operations of the supply chain require that local management makes hundreds of operational decisions. These operational decisions are made within the framework created by the strategic and tactical processes and not made in isolation.
See, logistics, ठीक है, third party supplier. Third party means logistics. Third party means that there's a logistic company which does only this work. You hire it and they'll do all your logistics work, bringing the supply from the supplier, raw material to the manufacturer, from manufacturer to warehouse, from warehouse to retailers, retailers to maybe, if it required, even to the consumers. But what happens if suppose by chance this third party is not able to reach the places where you want to send your goods? They might be having certain difficulty in doing that. In that case you have to have local logistics company or your own logistics to take the material over there. So at that time the decision is made at the because that is the day to day problem has come. Suppose by chance it has not arrived, the vehicle has not arrived, so you have to have certain standby so that you can use that in emergency, something goes wrong. So everywhere, whether you are talking about manufacturing or supply or logistics, the difficulties which come up daily at the has to be taken care of by the local people, by the people at the lowest level. If something is not available, some say very minor part, so at least they should have this option to buy it from the local market, so that the production is not stopped there, because everything is working in a timeline. You have a you have to answer to the public that you will be delivering the particular good by that particular time with that particular cost and particular quality. So for this, so many times it happens the decision has to be taken at the lowest level. So finally, we have come to the conclusion. Who will read? Samiksha. Nidhi? Nidhi? Are you there? Nidhi?
Mom, her internet,
Okay.
she's
So
having some network issue, I guess.
Okay. Then you, Samiksha, you continue.
Mom, she's back now.
Oh,
Hello.
hello,
I
Nidhi.
Oh,
This is
yes.
the last slide.
Strategic, tactical, and operational planning are integrally related. Strategic planning is an organizational process of defining the strategy or direction and making decisions on allocating the resources to pursue this strategy. Tactical planning is short range planning emphasizing the current operations of various parts of organization. Managers use tactical planning to outline what various parts of the organization must do for the organization to be successful of some point, 1 year, or loss into the future. Tactical plans are usually developed in the area of production, marketing, personnel, finance, and plant facilities. Operational planning is the process of linking strategic goals and objectives to tactical goals and objectives. It describes milestones, conditions for success, and explaining how or what a portion of a strategic plan will be put into operations during given operational period.
So we have, see, it is moving from strategic. So you have made the tactical, each functional area, what they have to do to achieve the goals which has been planned in the strategic, and operational, these tactical, how it has to be moved on a daily basis to, so that you achieve the goals which has been set up in the strategic planning. So these three things are interrelated. You cannot separate them from each other. One is, it is a step by step, strategic to tactical, tactical to operational. Do you have any questions you can ask, or otherwise we'll wind up for today? Hello? I think now it is very clear to you कि everything, whether you are talking about your own life, or whether you are talking about an organization, these three things, strategical, tactical, and operational, will, doing this effectively and efficiently, will only lead you to your goal which you had set up in your vision or mission. From vision, it is a vague idea. Mission, you have concretized that idea and you are trying to achieve it, but keeping the value system in mind. Okay, do you have any question? Hello?
No, Mom.
Okay, thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Good night.
Good night.